All right. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Realms of the Wild. Or Realms of the Wild. I can't even remember the name of my own show. This is Legend Zelda RPG with amazing and wonderful, awesome people. We've got a fair amount of announcements, so I'm going to try and rush through them as quickly as back to doing awesome stuff in the world of Zelda. So, I mean, that's awesome. First things first, PAX South is it's, I think, second weekend in January.
Yeah, that is January 13th, PAX South is.
Okay. So, PAX South, you guys already know, Zelda Universe is going to be at PAX South on Saturday, January 13th at 6 p.m. They will actually have their panel there. It won't be live streamed, but they will be recording it and posting it to Twitch. So if you guys are heading to PAX South, please check it out. Also, if you see anyone from Zelda Universe, I know, remind me, Elias, I know
we've got
be
Amanda running the panel, Josh Lindquist, one of our news editors, Ed. I'll be there, as well as Alex Trevino in the audience filming and stuff. We've got a special guest lined up, so it'll be a fun time.
So yeah, please, if you see people from Zelda Universe, go up to them and you know, tell them how much you love Realms of the Wild and all that cool stuff. The other thing, the weekend before that is MagFest, and going to be there too. They're going to have a panel at MagFest. It'll be January 6th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. But that panel will actually be live streamed, so if you can't make it to MagFest, you can still watch. Really cool, and very much early in the morning. So yeah. Some Twitch news. Twitch is running a charity drive for direct relief. For every 1,000 bits cheered with the hashtag charity, Twitch will donate $2 to direct relief. And even if you own, like, you know, 10 bits with the hashtag charity, all donation sites count towards that. So every time 1,000 bits are cheered, $2 goes to direct relief. And that'll be from now through December 29th. If you donate, the bits still come to, like, Zelda Universe. It's just Twitch, excuse me, Twitch, in addition to giving Zelda Universe, or really any streamer that you donate bits to, in addition to giving them the, you know, value of the bits, they're going to be donating extra. So Twitch is being kind of cool. The other thing they're doing is a sub sale, 20% off on all new subscriptions, and they have this new really cool option where you can gift subscriptions. If you are already subbed to a channel and you see someone in chat who is not subbed, that you're like, you know what, you should be subbed. You can actually gift it to them. It'll be 20% off all the way through January 6th. Again, the streamers still get the full amount of the sub, so it's a great way to support your favorite streamers like Zelda Universe, and you know, get access to things like icon thingies. Wow, my brain is just gone.
We have the best icon thingies.
Yeah. Emotes, whatever. The other thing, Zelda Universe is doing something really, really cool. They're giving away 3 copies of Breath of the Wild, signed by, I'm going to mispronounce this name, Aonuma.
Main Zelda producer, Aonuma-san, yeah.
Anuma-san. He's a amazing, wonderful gentleman. He's been nice enough to sign these copies. To enter, you just email contest@zeldauniverse.net and tell us in words or less what you would say to Mr. Aonuma. The contest closes January 20th at noon, Australian Eastern Daylight Time, January 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, for those of us in the state. And copies of the games that are up for grabs will all be the Switch version of the game, which, fun fact, I did not realize it was also on the Wii U until someone in the comment section of one of the YouTube videos went, "Hey, it's also in Wii U." And I'm like, awesome! Still means I can't play it because I don't have a Wii U, but that's really cool.
That's a thing.
So yeah. Check that out. If you go to ZeldaUniverse.net, they actually have information on it there too. So, you know, full contest rules, blah, 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 blah. And then this Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, there will be a special running blinds due to, there's a thing, I hope I'm going to pronounce this right. Christmas? Yeah. Due to Christmas, different things will be happening. Snake Run will still happen Sunday afternoon at noon Eastern Time, but the broadcast schedule is going to be a little bit weird because of the holiday. So other than that, the Cody Zone, which is normally what happens on Saturday nights, is actually going to be on hiatus until the 20th. Cody... you know, aside from being, you know, an awesome person from Australia, is also a world traveler, apparently, and unfortunately does not have access to phenomenal internet until he gets back home to Australia. So, yes, that'll be on hiatus until the 20th. All right, some very, very brief announcements for Realms of the Wild. First things first, favorite moments. We've been doing this for a little while. It hasn't gained quite the traction that we wanted it to. So we are going to stop doing the legend points for favorite moments. We have a brand new system we're going to be implementing that will actually do some really cool stuff. We will announce more once we have a little more of the bugs worked out and everything, but expect that probably in January. I can't give a confirmed date until we have all the bugs worked out, but probably in January we will have a new way to interact with you guys and kind of reward you guys for watching the channel and everything like that. So yes, please stick tuned for that. The final favorite moment was actually submitted by all right, let's see if I can get this name right. Kiri Kalagan, who is going to murder me for destroying her name. Kiri actually had probably the funniest favorite moment I've seen in a very long time, which was every vase-breaking pun that Classy Don Diego made. And it got a lot of likes because... it was like, Don is a unique gentleman. So when if I don't decide to kill off Brayak between between shows, the next time Brayak shows up randomly, he will have a legend point from you guys. The other thing, we still will be doing the poll after the rebroadcast on the weeks on our off weeks. The poll winner this week, or for last episode, for MVP is Zulta, who has started a campaign for MVP now. So, yeah, you other guys may have to, you know...
Her and Pierre both do heavy campaigning for their MVP poll votes.
Alex and Ilea really take this MVP poll seriously.
I just vote for myself and call it good every week.
You know, I vote for myself and I retweet, and like if I need more traction, I'll post it on the other socials and in groups. I'm a little insane about it.
You sneaky.
So yeah, we do enjoy the fact that you guys do vote for the MVP poll. Again, that means that Zulta does get a special legend point that she can use whenever, wherever, combine it with other legend points that she's earned, whatever she wants. So yeah, that directly affects the game, and it's all based on feedback from you guys. So please, continue to vote in the poll. Continue to share the show with your friends and things like that. We'd love to see the audience continue to grow, because interacting with you guys has been an absolute blast. So I'm just now getting to chat. Something kind of cool. So far, $44,560 is the total raised so far for direct relief. So that's really cool. That much money is going to direct relief, which goes. Elias, are you more familiar with what direct relief does? I'm assuming they relieve people directly.
Yeah, we actually worked directly with them back in March for our first Z-thon. They're a charity that provides relief to stuff like natural disasters and a lot of war victims and stuff. And they do it. I don't know the full details, but they do it in a method where a lot of the money that you donate goes directly, like they cut out a lot of middlemen. So it goes directly to the aid itself, and so therefore it's able to provide a little more aid than normal.
So overhead is low. Most of as much of your money as possible is going directly to helping people, which is fantastic. So yeah, the fact that Twitch has, from people donating bits, has raised over $44,000 for this charity is great. I'd love under the show it get even higher. So like I said, anytime you donate bits, if you put #charity, streamer still gets the bits, but direct relief gets a little bit too. So other than that, it's time for us to return to the realms of the wild. So, to bring everyone back into the realms. Last week, having a little bit of a existential meltdown, Kess was able to find out a little bit more, and the rest of the party, a little bit more about they met this character named Brayak, who seemed to have pretty powerful control over elemental magic in general. Zulta was really thrilled because he had into lightning and move, and they found out that he knew a lot more about what was going on than they did, and had apparently been dealing with this issue with the terrors longer than they had, and had thought that he was alone. Yeah, he was able to tell them a little bit more. They were able to meet with the leader of your puppy. Just is really upset that Brayak is not here free.
Hang on, sorry.
That's perfectly fine.
Riley!
If you have never seen pictures of Riley, she right? She's adorable. She's absolutely adorable and blends in with Snow. So.
Not so much. She's more cream when you see her up next to Snow.
Oh, well, she is adorable. So anyway.
She's currently on my Instagram.
Anyway, so yeah, you guys were able to meet with Impa, who was simultaneously and very kind of loving, gentle person, and strict teacher, all at the same time. And Bray, that to his knowledge, there there are 3 separate realms that kind of exist side by side. These tears kind of let you go between the 2 realms. And the thing that has caused these tears are what he called wounds, which happened at places where very large amounts of life were lost all at once. And he explained in one of the realms, the realm that Kess and Zulta call home, and Break called home as well. This one was in another realm that they hadn't been to before. There was a wound in the fallen Rito city of Eldon, which Pierre seemed very bothered by, but never really went into details about. And you guys asked Impa if something in the current realm might have triggered that, and you got told about a temple in the northwest of Hyrule that might also have a wound in it. Then Break mentioned that he had to go see if he could find the rest of these wounds so that you guys could close them as quickly as possible, because the wounds were hurting reality itself. So he unfortunately had to leave you guys, and now you guys are still in Kakariko Village. If I remember correctly, it was getting close to nighttime when we last left you, and I think you guys were heading back to the inn to get some sleep, unless somebody wants to correct me.
Zulta decided to sleep in a back closet, separate from...
Yeah, I've been burning potatoes.
And Pierre and I, think, shared a room.
And then Kess had a room to herself.
You're muted room to herself.
Sorry, I was trying to keep the dog quiet. She was barking. Does this mean we get hash browns?
What? Yeah. Yep.
She's burning hash browns.
Again, because you guys helped to save the town, your breakfast is on the house. You guys are ready. If you
How
want
will we get up there, though?
If you guys want, you can all meet downstairs, or you can meet in one of your rooms. Again, Zulta is already downstairs in a back room and was woken up at about 5 in the morning as they came in to some dry goods and things like that. Well, the rest of you were able to sleep as late as you want.
Yeah, I guess I'll wake up, see that Pierre is still asleep, and go downstairs.
Leave him there.
Yeah, we'll just leave.
Alex comes back. Hey guys, what'd you do?
We left you.
You're still in Kakariko, and we have a giant monster in front of us. So if you could pick up the pace.
Chip chop chip, Pierre. Come on.
Yeah, so I'll go downstairs and do my normal of order Hylian stew, season it with rocks.
Okay. They don't really do stew for breakfast. They have eggs, bread, then some cured meats.
Sprinkled meat is just as good.
Okay. So, Kess, you do hear a familiar sound from inside your room of dum, 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 and it goes past, goes downstairs. Zulta, you again, you were the, simply because they had to start getting ready early in the morning. So did you go back to sleep, or did you decide to wander around Kakariko at 5 a.m.?
I I would have wandered around, seen if there was any sources of flowing water nearby.
There is a river that runs technically around kind of the southeast corner of it. The river kind of loops close enough, and that's where they get most of their fresh waters from, this river. There's water nearby. From the inn, it's probably a good 5 to 10 minute walk, but
yeah, I would have walked to the river and I would have gone for a swim.
okay. So, you come back after having your refreshing swim to see Aruna sitting at a table on random pieces of food that keep getting put in front of him.
Wait, wasn't she locked in though?
She was. They opened.
So they could
Yeah, they
Oh,
unlocked the
sorry.
door so they could get the dry goods.
My brain is. I'm tired. I have a
It's early
It's early.
for 3 or 4 of us.
caffeine does not exist in this house.
Oh no.
I'm not joking.
Caffeine's a horrible substance.
Oh, that reminds me. My K-cups were
Yeah, I
delivered.
mean, caffeine, like, it's bad for your voice. So, I mean,
Tea is life. Get out of my face.
Yes, right.
Tea is not as good as coffee, but rocks are the best thing, and I just keep eating those.
Tea is so much better than
Come on,
coffee.
need some
I
chai.
go and I sit next to Aruna and I start getting some like fried eggs and different meats
Okay.
and things.
You are slightly robotic. So if you want to check your mic settings real quick. Unless
She's just gurgling the water from the swim.
Yeah, I was about to say, you may just be underwater this entire time. You brought water with you. So Kess, you are the last person upstairs. Other than Pierre seems to be sleeping really, really late today. Kess, do you have anything before coming downstairs, or?
Probably not. It's just that unnerving feeling of like things feel familiar, but they're not actually familiar.
Mm.
And just kind of discomfort. Probably taking her time, but just like, God, I kind of want to get out of here because this is freaking me out.
Have I taken the bubble of water off my head?
Yes.
Yes. So you take a little bit more care in getting dressed in the morning. Again, because now traveling outfit is something that you're used to putting on and everything like that, and now it is a link to home. Like every single, boots and, armor and stuff like that all has sentimental value that gives you that little bit of comfort that you need in a place where you don't technically belong. It takes you a little bit longer to get everything. You get your hook shot and put it into its slot, and your daggers, and you sequester them in your belt, and come downstairs to see Aruna, and then Pierre, remarkably quiet, but there, all enjoying a traditional so do you join them? All right, so you're all eating breakfast.
Dog was being very loud, so I was trying to answer this without.
As she walks up, and probably right before Pierre came down, whenever that was actually, I try to start a conversation with Zolta. And I'm just like, hey Zolta, have you noticed sometimes, and I think I've seen this with you too, where maybe for like half a day or a few hours, one of us will just be really, really quiet sometimes, and then they'll start being normal again. I don't really understand it, but have you noticed that?
You know, Aruna, I have noticed that. I assume it's just because we've been traveling through strange portals and are in a strange realm, and it gets to people, you know? So if anyone is ever remarkably quiet, I think it's ignore it and they'll come out of it soon enough.
That's true, because I'm still in my realm, so maybe if I go to another one, I'll be quiet sometimes. I'll get back to you on that, but that's a really good theory.
I mean, I think we'll need to give it a try as soon as possible. So as soon as everyone's ready to go, we should go find and maybe check out a different world and see how that works for you.
Okay, well, just so you know, it's really hard for me to be quiet sometimes. And by sometimes, I mean a lot of times.
Sure if Elias, or I mean, if Aruna was not as talkative as he was, you think might have, maybe even the rest of existence might have difficulty hearing about your exploits.
This feels a bit meta, and I'm my character wouldn't know this information.
This all happened before you came downstairs. This conversation happened before you came downstairs.
Well, none of us would know this. I don't mean to rules lawyer this.
The L actually stands for lawyer, rules lawyer.
Ooh, I like it. I'm lost.
Pierre comes down eventually, again, remarkably quiet, but
I point to Zolta and be like, I think he's the quiet one this morning.
You guys have noticed that you guys know that he had a conversation with Brayak that you guys are not privy to, and this
I thought he just went to the bathroom.
Situation. Okay, yeah, he just went to the bathroom. But this whole situation, specifically when Brayak mentioned Eldon, to you is the area where Death Mountain is. So you have no idea why he would be so upset about it. But every time somebody's brought up Eldon, specifically when Brayak brought it up, he seemed very, very upset about it. Yeah, he just seems to be kind of dealing over things, and probably for the next like hour and a half, he'll continue to mull things over. So Kess comes down finally, and you guys all are able to eat. Are there any discussions you guys want to have before kind of heading out? Again, in the inn, you have relative privacy. Like, there's enough people that that causes a little bit of a dull noise that would mask a quiet conversation from prying ears.
I kind of feel like Jess just needs to get out of here.
Okay.
I think
Zulta, you see the man that you assume is awaiting.
No.
Come in with his family, see you, immediately leave.
I guess it wasn't time
Like
for his shift.
it's an instant, like as soon as he comes in, and he's out again.
This family's gonna starve because of you.
Only for like a couple more hours.
They can
That's
get
out of character,
brunch.
by the way.
Is it
Mine
though?
wasn't.
Are we sure about that?
It's like,
Mine
well,
was
if he would come
completely
in for
in
his
character.
shifts and do his job, they would have enough money to eat, now wouldn't they?
Zolta, we're all pretty sure he doesn't work here.
Okay, Aruna, sure, he doesn't work here.
I'm glad you
Zolta
finally
does
realized that.
He gives him a pat on his shoulder or whatever part of his arm that she can reach.
I
So,
think we should all start treating Zolta like she works here.
She was in the employees only storeroom, so
I mean, I assume she was hired.
So, is it time to leave?
you guys finish up your meal, and again, as you kind of reach to start looking for payment from everyone but Zolta, you're reassured that your meal is taken care of by the fact that the village was not destroyed yesterday. So
as we check in for that, I say again, probably for the first time for myself, I'm like, we're really sorry about Zolta being like that.
And the barkeep, who's a young gentleman this morning, just kind of looks at you weird, and then it dawns on him. He's like, I thought that was a joke. That really happened?
Yes. Yeah.
I so wish I was here.
You don't wish that. No. It was...
No.
Don't. We're leaving now.
I mean...
if you see her again, I'm
guy,
really sorry.
That would have been so funny. I gotta remember to start switching shifts with her. Anyway, and he thanks you again. So you guys finish up your breakfast. You're now out of the inn. Unless you guys have anything else you want to do in the inn before you leave.
Pack up, and I'm
No
pretty
more
sure that
customers you want to bring to Sulta. Okay. So you guys are now in Kakariko Village. The inn itself is close to one of the exits to Kakariko Village, northeast of the village. So if you guys wanted to head out directly from Kakariko, you could. Otherwise, again, you are here. You basically have been given 2 places that you can go, or you've been given 2 kind of locations where you might start heading next.
I think
One was north of Hyrule Castle, northeast of Hyrule Castle, in this realm, in a place called the Forgotten Temple, and the other one to find a way to get to a different realm.
I think we had decided to try to go to the one in this realm.
Okay.
Last time.
This one doesn't seem to have as many people that wants to kill Zolta and I, so I'm in favor of that.
Okay.
At least people who aren't hired specifically for that exact purpose.
Yeah.
There are advantages to not having an entire sect of hunters that look for you.
Just being like, hey, I don't like your hair color. Want to die? No, not really, bro. Thanks, though.
Thanks for asking.
That's the weirdest...
no, mine's more, I don't like the shape of your fins, so, you know.
I don't like the shape of your fins. I don't like the shape of your face.
Mine is like, hello.
Nobody hunts Gorons. They tried it once. They're like, oh, Gorons, totally. We could be racist against Gorons. Didn't work. Surprisingly enough, they have pretty thick skin, both
also,
physically and metaphorically.
They just don't. Half of the time, they just don't understand when you're insulting them.
Yeah. From what you guys gather from your few interactions you've had with Gorons, they don't seem to get insults when they're hurled in their general direction.
They're very much about sticks and stones. May break against
Iruna checks to make sure that stick he found earlier is still in one piece and in his bag.
What was? I'm sorry, I missed that. What was it?
After Brayak did his like baseball bat thing, I had the great idea to get a stick for myself to try that in the future.
Oh yeah.
So I just checked to make sure that that's there.
It's too adorable.
You still have your stick.
Great.
Most other people might upgrade this from stick to log, but for you, it's a stick.
Great, awesome.
It also
sizable tree branch.
Well, I was I probably didn't mention this in combat because I didn't think about it till just now, but it makes a lot more sense. Your stick, parts of it that were in the ground when you picked up the stick, which most other people might call roots. So still little bits of dirt and stuff that haven't completely fallen off, despite the fact that you probably practiced swinging it a little bit in the room last night. It's not
much to Pierre's dismay.
You may have smacked Pierre. Yeah, I was about to say you might have smacked Pierre once or twice.
As I grab the stick out to check on it, like a blue feather just like spurts out of it. And I'm just like, oh, sorry about that.
You see Pierre grimace and rub his head.
So we're going northeast.
I believe so.
I can't remember the direction that was on top. We're going to the forgotten temple that we've remembered somehow.
Yes, and we know
you didn't
which
remember
direction to
it.
go
I
in.
remembered it.
Okay, well, someone remembered it. It was like the Alamo.
Too soon, Kiri. Is really quick, Jodie. Is the Forgotten Temple northwest or northeast?
Technically, it's northwest. I misspoke.
Okay.
It's over by the Tabantha tundra.
Okay.
In a ravine.
Okay.
So getting down to it might unique stuff, but yeah, the overall name of the area that it's in is Herba or Hebra. Sorry.
Hebra.
Sure.
Down the ravine.
Have I been to that ravine area before?
You've crossed over it. There's a bridge from Hyrule Ridge to the Tabantha frontier that used to cross this rather deep kind of ravine chasm thing. And you know that is over on in Hebra.
So I've never been
kind of in the middle of a lake.
Never been inside of it.
You've traded with Rito before,
right? Okay.
So you've never seen this Forgotten Temple because that's a part of the ravine you've never really explored.
Well, I will just say I think it's near the Tabantha ravine, so we should just head that way.
Tuck and roll.
Okay, and I tuck in and then I roll out.
That's how he'll
Yes,
just get down there.
I just walk in the path of destruction.
There's not a lot of destruction. Probably.
Is there a way that like we can pick up some rope and maybe? You know what? I've got my hook shot. It's fine.
You could go to probably the best place to get quote unquote supplies would be going back to the smith that you guys have gotten to know, because he would other things that he sold in addition to his smithing. So if you guys wanted to pay a visit to Colin before you left, bare minimum he would be able to tell you where you might be able, you know, if there was a general store where you might be able to get certain supplies if there's anything that you need.
I wouldn't have any knowledge about a general store.
You would have a knowledge of the general store in your realm.
Oh my gosh, we don't need a general store here.
About the same. Seems to be like buildings are in the same places. The inn is in the same place, so you could infer that it would be in the same place. But you also know that, again, like rope that the blacksmith would have because he would use it.
That's what I want.
If rope is the only thing you're looking for, you have a relationship with him.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, like the general store would have a little bit more variety. They'd have, you know, maybe some dry good foods.
Fucking rope.
Yeah. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, because we're gonna go trekking down a ravine. I've got my hook shot, but maybe something to rappel with would be nice.
Okay. So yeah, you're very easily able to find about 50 foot of.
All right, cool. I'm happy then.
Whenever I realize that Kestrel is heading to the blacksmith instead of out of the town, I just U-turn and try to follow her until I catch up.
So you have a boulder following you.
Wait, this is reminding me of that time. Where's my hat? I need a whip.
And we get copyright strike.
It just takes 3 notes.
Yep. I think
that was 4.
You know what? This is not important.
That was 4.
It's not important. Let's just move on with our lives.
So yeah. You guys are able to get. Is there any other supplies you guys want to get? Because this is Aruna. You know specifically as far as like this is going to be the last one that you guys are going to pass specifically by and get closer to Rito Village.
Hey guys, this is going to be the last.
Theoretically, you don't have to actually go, like going to the Rito Village out of your way to get to where the Forgotten Temple has been described to you.
So guys, this is the last settlement really until Rito Village, but even Rito Village is kind of out of the way of the canyon. So if there's anything you want from here that you want, then you should get it. Like, you know, extra rocks, a cool stick. I'm already set, but
do they have any kind of like salted meats or things that might last a while?
The inn would have rations that you could purchase, like basically they call them iron rations, which basically consist of some dried meat, maybe some the equivalent of hardtack, if you're familiar with that.
Aruna, I think that you should go back to the inn and see if they have any rations, some iron tack for our journey, just in case we have trouble hunting. I think that you might be able to carry the most, though. So
rations and iron tack?
Iron tack, yes.
Okay. So I'll roll back to the inn.
I'm waiting for Aruna to come back with nails.
Yeah.
And I talked to the barkeep I guess I had talked to that morning.
Yeah, and they do sell rations.
Do you have any rations or iron tack?
And he looks at you kind of funny. Iron tack?
I don't know what it is either, but we're supposed to have some before we leave.
I mean, we have iron rations.
Iron rations will work fine. That sounds like it's right.
Yeah, they're again, because they don't get a ton of visitors, you're only able to pick up probably worth of rations for the 4 of you guys.
Okay. So I'll take those and leave some rupees and a hand bomb for the barkeep, and say this is for whenever the moblins come back and we're not here. You just throw it.
And he kind of looks at it for a second and he goes, "Is that what I think it is?"
Yes, it's a bomb. I say a little loudly.
Aruna got on the no-fly list.
and you see his face.
Oh my God, Aruna, you can't just say bomb.
A little bit more pale than this. Like to you, I mean, Sheikah are a little bit darker skinned than some Hylians, but they're still and so to you, all Sheikah and Hylians and in general tend to be fairly pale, and this one just got even more pale. You see him, he's like, oh, okay.
Thank you for the rations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I leave.
He's like, the door is right over there.
Thank you. And I walk out the door.
You hear a slight bit of commotion. After you
We're never.
and some words that you don't recognize. Kess, you and
not
Zulta
here.
join him at this point. And
I found they told me they didn't know what iron tack was, but they said they had iron rations. So I got us 4 iron rations.
Perfect. Good enough. It's not as good as iron tack, but it'll do.
Okay.
So yeah, Kess, you do recognize some of those words. They have 4 letters in Sheikah.
Those are the ones I get in trouble for saying.
Yes.
For
You,
more than one reason.
Yeah. There have been many a time that you have tasted the soap to clean dishes with.
And then I went blind from soap poisoning. Holidays.
Surprise! Tess is really blind. We didn't tell you this entire time. It's a reveal.
Which is the most impressive part is she has really good accuracy with that hook shot, despite being blind.
All her other senses are heightened.
She's the daredevil of Hyrule.
Also secretly like cough, so I can feel the vibrations.
I like
She
top
randomly
over
just walks around
Daredevil.
going, I am one with the force is with me. I'm one with the force is with me.
Basically. I am all of these in one. I'm basically the chosen one.
At some point, she's going to touch the
Spoilers.
ground, and all the rocks are going to start floating, and Aruna is just going to be so impressed and happy.
I'm going to pick
Then
the
her
rocks out of
hair
the air.
turns
Anyway.
yellow and spiky.
No.
No. Too much.
We're not going
Too
We're not gonna
much.
steal
Shut
from
it
that.
down.
That's apparently the line.
Always
Dragon Ball Z
lie.
references. No.
Because we would never, ever get past that episode. It would be 5 episodes later, and I would still be like,
We'd just be fighting for episode upon episode.
I'm not even really well. Anyway, what?
So you guys have
throwing shade.
enough rations for about a week, which should be enough to pretty easily get you to the ravine itself, with still like the rations to go. In order to get there, you are going to have to cross through Hyrule Field, which is where you guys first met, and where Aruna had mentioned before Kess had to wander off that there were that hadn't been doing anything for years, but like broken guardians are all over Hyrule Field.
Yep.
And then you'd also have to travel through Hyrule Ridge. Some kind of more serious things there. There's a possibility of meeting Hinox in Hyrule Ridge. They both tend to be in that area. So,
Hinox and
are
what?
there any kind of Linnell?
Oh God.
Lionel? I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce it. I've never heard it pronounced. Only seen it in print. Nel. So I pronounce it Linnell.
So we'll go through Hyrule Field, but Hyrule Ridge is after that, and we should probably try to go around it. I went there once.
Well,
and
again, the bridge across the ravine is in Hyrule Ridge. Like, you have to go through that area in order to get to the bridge.
The bridge across that okay.
So yeah, there's that big old ravine that apparently is where this Forgotten Temple is. And the only way you know across it is either to go all the way north into the Tabantha Tundra, and it basically goes all the way around the ridge, but it's all the way to the north. It would add a couple extra days to your journey. Go past the Great Hyrule Forest. Not close enough to go in unless you divert forest.
Yeah.
But yeah, either you do that or you go the bridge in Hyrule Ridge. I'm a poet and I didn't know it.
So there's on the other side of Hyrule Field, Hyrule Ridge, where the bridge is that I went to once, but that's the bridge across it. I still don't know how to get down into the canyon, but that's the only place I know that's a place in the canyon. So we could go there.
Well, okay, but if it's a Forgotten Temple, wouldn't it make sense that if it was sort of out of the way, like, what's at the bottom of the canyon?
Rocks.
Your wisdom and insight is forever useful, Haruna.
Thank you.
When he mentioned Hyrule Field, you do remember that he mentioned that there were inactive guardians there, which in your realm, the guardians were destroyed by the Shadow Stalkers. And society as a whole kind of ripped them apart because they were Shikatek, and yeah, they didn't like them. So you've never seen one intact. You've seen pieces of them. So you do remember when you guys first met, that was one of the things you were kind of interested in, and you know that they are in Hyrule Field.
All right.
So do you think we should go somewhere else
No,
than the bridge, or
they've got to be guarding something.
what?
We just go in the general direction in which we said we were going to.
Okay.
We need to figure this out, and that's the only thing that we know of in this realm. So we need to go to it.
Yeah, we're just really not sure how to get there except for the general direction. But the general direction's a good start. And that's this way. And I point and I start walking.
Okay. So you guys head into the forest around village, and very soon start getting a little bit more swampy area because you guys are very close to the Lanayru wetlands, but very quickly are able to get through that. And I'm going to I'm assuming you are the person that is leading the party, correct?
I assume so as well.
He's very armored. It seems best this way.
Especially if he's rolling, because it just creates a really nice path for us.
Oh, did you want me to roll, Zolta?
You know, Aruna, you do whatever your heart says to do. If that means that you roll, or you walk, or you skip and dance and prance.
I'm just gonna be like,
I'm just gonna keep walking then.
He carries bombs.
Maybe you walk.
That's what I was gonna do.
I'm gonna have you roll me a let's call it a perception check. Yeah, sure. Roll me a perception check.
Perception.
Just Aruna, since he's the one that's gonna be kind of leading you guys through this.
Yep, 6. That was 6.
Ooh.
Excellent. So as you guys are going, Runa very confidently strolls off, starts rolling a little bit, which is actually kind of hard to keep up with you guys for a little bit. And then station about, oh, he has bombs. Maybe rolling's a bad idea. And he slows down.
He can roll. It's more of a fact of maybe we shouldn't encourage him to just follow his heart, because I recall what happened when that time I met him.
Follow your heart. Okay, throw bomb.
No!
Really isn't any problem you can't solve with the right size bomb.
That's the
Except
motto
a
I live
crater.
by.
How do you solve a problem like a Goron?
How do you catch it?
Bomb and keep it down.
How do you solve
And then you meet people who are snapping and dance fighting, and it's really weird. As you guys are going, you notice it's taking kind of a bizarre route through the forest, and eventually you guys do make it to Hyrule Field, but he seems to be taking this very bizarre kind of roundabout route to get where he's going. Unbeknownst to the rest of you, Aruna, you have gotten slightly lost. You're not recognizing landmarks. Typically got off the beaten path because you knew the area that you were in was not the safest in the world, and because of having to deal with the Talus before and the Moblins and things like that, you were a little bit wary about traveling on well-traveled paths, because that's also where it is easiest to be spotted. So you try to lead them, through hills and things like that. And yes, Kiri?
Oh, I was just gonna make a dumb crack about this. Is the risk you take when you take travel tips from Robert Frost. But...
Yeah, well...
really dumb joke!
So as you
But we
take
all
the
got
road
it.
less traveled by, it does make all the difference. Because as you're wandering through, you're more and more of a difficult time figuring out where you are specifically. You've gotten into Hyrule Field because you guys kind of get to that sea of long grass with trees every so often and hills and stuff like that. Picturesque Miyazaki kind of landscape. But as you get there, you're having a harder and harder time trying to figure out where it is. And eventually you watch Aruna kind of scream out in pain and then disappear into the sea of grass as you feel the ground shake. Aruna, you hit something very, very solid and metallic with your foot and face planted. You're slightly sore, but nothing that, would be a detriment to you. Does disappear beneath the grass for a little bit.
Hey, buddy, you okay?
Yeah, I'm a little sore, but nothing that would be a big detriment.
One of these days, I'm just going to say something bonkers to see if I can get him to repeat it. In character.
By the way, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but I'm pretty sure we're in Hyrule Field. But other than that, I'm also pretty sure that we're lost.
Okay.
Also, ow.
Where is the sun right now?
The sun, at this point, the sun is directly overhead.
Okay.
Well, maybe this is a great time to stop for lunch. Can you get out of the hole, Aruna?
He's actually not in a hole. He tripped over something that is mostly covered.
I'm not in a hole, Zolta.
Insatiable curiosity.
It was a metaphorical hole. I guess you wouldn't understand. Let's just move on.
I know what a metaphor is.
Kiri, as you wander over, you see something relatively familiar to you. It looks like segmented plate mail almost, in a long kind of snake-like shape, and you recognize it as most intact guardian leg you've ever seen, and you realize that what has tripped over is a partially buried guardian, which were ancient Sheikah tech that were originally designed to help defend the royal family, be used to help seal Ganon before the Great Calamity. But to your knowledge, his knowledge of machinery and technology in general was so great that he was able to take over all of them. Or magic. Oh, I'm trying to remember which one is which. Yeah.
We should totally stop here for lunch, she said without any ulterior motive or agenda.
That was weird inflection, but okay.
Kess, why did you feel the need to say that out loud?
Just because, you know, I felt inspired by you.
By me or Aruna? I feel like I haven't really said things out loud when I'm doing the actions. Like, I don't come over here and say, yes, I will sit down now as we have our lunch. I feel like that might
sometimes
be
you say
Aruna
that.
Does.
I was making a crack that you suck at lying. So she starts to just very like, and then just starts to kind of like brush away some of the dirt.
So you follow the leg, it eventually connects to the main piece, which is the guardians themselves are these very unique looking creatures. They have four kind of tentacle like legs that because they've been trashed in your realm, you've never seen one intact, you've never seen how they work. But your understanding is they use these legs. Yeah, you use these legs to move very, very quickly, and then their central body is kind of vase-shaped, to be honest. And there's a central eye towards the top of it. Could fire a beam of energy, and that was their main form.
Instantly.
Is there?
Well, it was not pleasant to be hit by. It's one of the reasons they were destroyed in your realm before they became too big a deal, because again, anything built by the Sheikah, but they did have the Sheikah symbol on them, and so you're doing this and brushing things away with, I'm assuming you have a brush that you use for archaeologing.
Is there any point when she's doing that I recognize it's a guardian?
You knew it was a guardian when you tripped over it.
Oh! Then I just regain my footing and back away cautiously and begin nibbling on rocks while she's doing that.
Okay. So Kiri, Kess, I'm going to have you roll me a logic check as you're kind of looking over this thing that you've never seen intact before.
Roll the thing. Bend to my will. There we go. 41!
Wow.
41.
So logical.
I am the Spock of this mission.
So you guys sit there and hear Kestrel say, fascinating. And your ears just get a little bit more pointy. So yeah, you're sitting there and you're looking over this thing is one of the most amazing things. you've ever had the chance to look at. You, in your travels and bounds, you know, ruins of some ancient Sheikah temples and things like that, you've seen broken Sheikah tech and stuff like that, and have been able to glean from it. That's how you made your hook shot, and some of the other gadgets that you play around with. But this is technology you're not 100% familiar with. It's a little bit alien to you. It's different than the Sheikah tech that you're used to examining. And as you sit there kind of perusing it, and you take out your tools to try and, you know, get inside it and start looking at it, you realize it's not broken at all.
Oh no!
Not only is it not broken, it has power. It theoretically could be turned on.
No!
It doesn't seem to be active right now, and you don't know why it's not active. Everything that you look at here says this is a fully functional Guardian.
I back away slowly.
Okay.
Because logic has taught me. No.
Do I know what this is?
We should
roll me
vacate this area, guys. We should
learning check.
get behind
Zelda.
some things and hide.
But you wanted to eat lunch here. Wait, how come you haven't eaten?
I know. I did say that, but that was before I realized that thing still has power.
What?
It's got power going into it. I don't know why it's not shooting us right now, but I don't really want to hang out and find out.
Well, the Guardians have been dormant for a long time. They haven't had power since the Calamity. If it should be shooting us but isn't shooting us...
now changed.
But it hasn't changed because it's not shooting us.
So I rolled an 8. I assume what I do is go over and poke it.
No! Don't get away from that!
You've heard the name Guardian. You really, it was part of history taught as you grew up, and it was part of history that you didn't care about because it didn't have anything to do with Zora. So you're familiar with the word.
Huh. I'm poking it.
Don't touch it!
Well, I already
As
tripped over it.
you poke it. It is made of metal, and you can.
Can I do lightning at it?
No!
If you would like to.
Zolta... Oh, she's not telling us anything.
Out of character, does anyone want to stop me? Please stop.
I would love to stop you if I knew what you were about to do.
So Zulta,
She's already been poking it.
I mean, you've seen me poke it.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, but I tripped over it and nothing happened. I think these are dormant.
And then you see electricity start to leap between her fingers, and you have seen her use this electricity before to fire bolts.
I'm at the risk of likely getting shocked myself, but hopefully not killing the rest of the party. I'm going to grab her hand and wrist and try to yank her away.
Okay. I'm gonna make this a contested check. I will let you.
What do I do?
I'm gonna let you roll what would normally be an agility check, logic. Zulta, I want you to make an energy check.
Okay. That sounded way too happy.
29.
Ooh. Out of character, thank God.
I know.
Okay. What is your guard defense, Kess?
My guard
Mm-hmm.
is 16.
16. Okay, so cool. As you're sitting there, Zulta, and you're starting to conjure the lightning energy between your hands, you suddenly feel a hand on your wrist, and you see Kess with fear in her eyes, just kind of not just pulling your arm away, but kind of like pulling your entire body away from it. And you both kind of fall to the ground and roll off a discharge of electricity that goes wide and just barely misses hitting Kess herself. Kess, you feel kind of the static energy of the bolt of lightning just kind of graze past your face, and your hair gets a little bit frizzy for a little bit. But beyond
Jodie?
that, really...
I would like to do a
Yes?
callback to the very first episode. Who's on top?
I think we're both on the bottom. I think we've established I'm always the top. No. I think we fell back side by side based on that, but I don't know. I'll let him decide.
Since you asked the question, make me an agility roll.
13.
Not quite high enough. Kess, you have control of this fall. As you guys hit the ground, are you on top of Zulta, or does she land on top of
I'm
you?
not giving in to this fan service, and I say we fall side by side.
All right. You guys hit the ground
Never,
side
Thank
by
never
you.
mount a lady without her consent.
You guys hit the ground side by side, and you're cushioned by your fall is cushioned a little bit by the grass around you. This sea of long grass. You guys hit and roll a little bit, but end up stopping just kind of about 10 feet away from what you guys were. That Zulta was poking and about to shoot with lightning.
So
Zolta,
I
did you just
shouldn't.
try to shock the
Lightning.
Guardian?
I don't know what it is. I heard about Guardian, but you know, it's not Zolta tech, so it's not gotta be that great.
Okay, sorry,
First
I'm
of all,
sorry. Did
I
you
don't think-
Said a
literally-
Sora.
Did you just
I did.
literally name the...
I don't know if Zolta Tech exists, but
It doesn't.
before...
It does in Zolta's head.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Cass with her new staticky shock charge that she has thanks to her hair is going to just go like this and then poof, a little static shock on Zolta. Just be like, "Whoa, don't touch it."
Is that on my nose?
Yes, you get booped with static.
So after the great booping,
The great booping.
The boopening. The great booping.
The great booping of Hyrule.
Aruna, you watch these two kind of like wrestle with each other a little bit and then hit the ground, and you see them kind of shoot out of the air. You've seen bolts like you've seen Zulta conjure bolts like this before. They are not dangerous. Like they hit a talus. There we go. Wow, my brain is just gone today, guys. Sorry. They hit a talus and turned it in partially molten. So you know that it's a little bit dangerous that Zulta would be firing that at Cass, of all people. And you're about 10 feet away from them when that happens.
Zulta,
and they are below the grass line, so you can't really see them.
I'll walk up to like where I can see them and say, Zolta, when we touched them, it didn't activate them because they've been, you know, dead, but lightning could make them undead, so maybe don't shock the dead guardians with lightning.
So lightning can make things undead. We'll have to try this in the future.
Just the guardians.
The fact that the Goron knows more about this is upsetting.
Well,
It wasn't that interesting.
it was interesting if you ran away from them.
In front of me. So Okay, I won't shock the big metal thing.
Thank you.
Just gonna grab her by her face and be like, "It will kill you."
Don't
And then it's gonna kill me.
Strong
And then
enough
I'm
to do
gonna
that.
don't shock any metal things until it starts attacking you first. Otherwise, just don't. Please.
Let's get out of here. Push
So
up,
as this is
kind of like.
happening,
Ugh.
you guys start to feel
No.
a rumble,
No.
and as you are sitting there, Kiri, you kind of look over and you see that Aruna had tripped over is now peeking above the grass line, whereas before and basically invisible until you hit it. Beyond that, though, nothing has changed.
The
We died
the
here right now.
guardian
I
leg
want it to
moved?
be known it was your fault.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, we should go
So
now.
let's go. And if we could stay about, let's stay. Try to keep down in the grass just until we get.
Rolling. I'm leaving as fast as possible.
I'm going to leave, but I also want to kind of activate my life drain just in case.
It's a machine, Zolta. It doesn't have life.
Everything has life. You just don't know it.
Go ahead and
No, I really
roll,
do.
your life drain boon. See if it activates.
$32.
So you sit there and you start concentrating on the life force of the things around you, and you can feel the kind of life coming from the ground is contained within the grass and everything like that. Not enough to really be worth much to you, but it's still there. You can feel the presence of your allies, force, and you can feel at the very center of this thing a small kind of bead energy that you can't really explain, because you've never seen a metal anything that had life energy in it, and yet this thing for some odd reason has different than what you sense in your friends, but it's definitely there. And then you notice that little bead start to kind of pulse a little bit, rumble a little bit more, and from behind you another leg to peek up above the grass.
Yep, time to go. Okay. Time to go.
Iruna's just rolling.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not having to stick around for any of that.
I'm gonna have you guys make me a group agility check.
Oh, God.
Everybody roll your agility. Or logic.
If we die, I'm so blaming you.
I am so sorry, guys.
I'm gonna use let's see here.
19.
Well, I don't have any dice, so I can only use one advantage. So I'll use one legend point.
Okay.
Aruna succeed. Aruna succeed.
With these group checks, it's based on kind of the total kind of.
$21.
21. All right. So as you guys start going, Zulta, you stumble a little bit and you trip and you fall, and you feel a very large hand kind of grab you by the waist and just pull you up. Aruna grabs you and is just running as quickly as he can. He lets go of you so that he can roll into a ball and roll faster. But you are you watch Kess instantly take out her hook shot, find something nearby to shoot at, and you see her just start running and shooting and dashing across the ground as you feel more and more kind of shakes and rumbles in the ground. And as you look back, the hill that you guys had kind of set up a makeshift camp-ish around, you'd sat down and taken out rations and stuff like that, had started to crumble away, and you started to see that it was the hill itself was basically dirt and sediment that had settled on top of this guardian. And as you guys get further and further away, you see another leg and another leg, and you watch the center mass start to raise up, and you see the single eye on it start to glow, and it starts looking around, which is something, Aruna, you've traveled through Hyrule Field before. You've seen these guardians. They've never done that.
They don't wake up.
You've gone right next to them. This probably 2-story tall guardian start wandering around. You see, and it starts just kind of wandering around looking for targets, able to run away fast enough that you don't think it sees you right now.
Does it? If I'm able to, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If I'm able to get any glimpse of it when it's starting to light up, does it turn the purplish red that my parents told me about, or a different color?
This is using knowledge of a game that I haven't played yet, so you're gonna have to explain what the purplish red means to me real quick.
Purplish red means controlled by Ganon, and blue usually is their default Sheikah factory setting.
Good question. It's it glows orange.
Great, still running.
Which is not a color you're used to hearing.
Nope, never heard about them being orange.
You're used to hearing. Smell the color night.
If Aruna can't see a color normally, we've got other problems.
It's a Goron trait.
Kinesthesia, folks. Or I think that's seeing sound, but same basic principle. So you guys are kind of huddled behind another hill. You're roughly about 100 minutes. From stories that your parents have told, you know that these guardians can cover distance and can see things from relatively far away.
Yeah, I don't stop.
You don't stop. You're just gonna. You were.
This is
were
like
able to make cover when it emerged, but you will no longer have cover if you keep going.
Oh, so we're like, oh god, oh great.
You are behind a hill that's basically breaking line of sight with the thing.
So I'll get behind the hill and stay rolled up, attempting to look like a rock.
So Aruna starts doing his best rock impression, which you guys have to admit, it's pretty good rock impression. Like he's
maybe next to any other rocks I see.
Like you think at his core, he really understands rocks, and you think that he's really kind of at his core, he's really, he's imagining himself as a rock. He's projecting out rock-like emotions.
I'm a method rock.
Yeah. Zulta and Kess, you do not have the ability to look like a rock.
Nope.
So seeing this creature kind of moving around, it's stumbling a little bit, but the longer it's moving around, the better it seems to be doing. It has this kind of orange glow to its eyes that, again, Kess, you studied this technology before. You know generally blue means on, and then no glow means off. Yellow is not a color it's supposed to have.
You said orange.
Orange, sorry.
Yellowish
It's
orange.
actually morphing its color. It started orange and now it's become yellow.
The amazing Technicolor
It's
Guardian.
become Metroid Prime. That's what it's become.
Kestrel and the
Yeah.
amazing Technicolor Guardian.
And then you see a woman in battle armor with an arm gun in her mouth.
Great.
Let's see how many copyright strikes you can get from Nintendo. Then you see a plumber in a red hat with eyes.
The plumber has eyes? I would hope so.
No, so this creature is kind of wandering around. It almost looks confused, which is, again, another thing that's a little bit weird. To you, technology is technology. You know, it has a purpose. You build it, it works the way it's supposed to. As far as it showing signs of intelligence, you have not dealt with any sort of intelligent technology before. That it's reacting, like it'll step on something that will break, and then it will, you know, you'll watch its eye turn towards it and focus for a little bit, and then it'll move around. Like it almost seems like a living creature, which is not something that you were able to study because all of these are destroyed where you come from.
I mean, fair, but that thing wants to kill me, so I have not stopped, nor bothered to really notice any of this, and I'm still hookshotting as far away as I possibly can. That's all good,
Right.
but I'm not stopping. Sorry.
Okay.
Y'all
So as you hookshot away from where you are, the other two of you guys hear the familiar and you watch yourself towards another tree, and as that happens, the eye of the guardian goes zoom and looks directly at where Kess has just dove out of hiding from.
No, I'm sorry. As someone who's played this game, I'm calling crap.
They have microphones.
They don't have ears. I have made sound behind it, and if it has not seen me, I've been fine.
Zolta is currently hiding behind the rock formerly known as Aruna.
I'm like,
the creature was looking for whatever activated it, and was looking specifically for movement, which you provided by very quickly dashing and moving. Has remarkably good eyesight, whether or not it could hear you. So as you did that, thing itself turned and looked towards you, and is now rushing towards you very, very quickly. It seemed to do anything as of yet, and I would like everyone to roll for initiative for me.
We are not fighting a guardian. No. No.
I'm not. Yeah.
No.
Initiative is oh goodness.
You just click on.
I clicked the thing that I don't have pulled up, right? Is it agility based?
It's an agility.
Okay.
It's an agility.
I got 27.
Give me just a few seconds to get the program that I wasn't expecting to use today.
Yeah.
I didn't think you guys would piss off a guardian.
Yeah. No. That.
I'm so sorry, guys. Like, to be fair, I did.
It could have been. It could have been me tripping over it. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's.
To be fair,
maintain.
it was probably me poking it
Not
over
know where
and
I was
over again.
there, but
We all did stuff to it, so who knows? Except Pierre. He's just quietly.
Pierre's not even there. We left him.
I don't
yeah.
know.
Hi, Pierre. I forgot you were here. Yeah. Where is he gone?
Pierre is just silent as a guardian approaches.
Alone towards
All right.
the woods.
So
Or is
Zilta,
he
you got a
just
27. Kess, what did you get?
I got a 16.
Aruna?
19.
18, and then Which one is this? Oh, I have the wrong character sheet up. There we go. Helps if I actually have the actual thing up. All right, so first up is going to be Zulta. You see the creature look towards Kess and start running towards it. It still is, like I said, you guys are roughly about 100 feet away from it.
How many?
And Kess kept going further away from it. So you see that it's moving towards her, but it's still a fair ways off. What would you like to do?
So it has to go past us to get to Kess, right?
It would have to go near you, not technically past you.
Okay. I want to reach out and touch someone. Sorry. When it
you use AT&T,
What?
basically, I want to try and touch it and use Death Drain like really close when it goes past, but not alert it to us before then.
the direction that it's going, you don't think it's going to get close enough for you to touch it without you actually running out to touch it.
Well, I want to like...
It's a thing that uses a laser beam, so...
Okay, I'm going to metaphorically touch it as it goes past.
Okay, so you're going to prepare to attack it as it gets closer. You do get the idea that it's probably going to take at least a couple of turns to get close enough for you to do this. So you get the idea that it's moving very quickly, but you guys were like 200 feet away from it. So even moving very quickly, it's going to have some time to get there.
I don't want to alert it to where we are. It already knows where one of the party is. I don't want them to know where the other three are.
Okay. So that ends that. Aruna, you are up. You are very rock-like. Rock, dude. I mean, what can I say?
How far away from us did you say it was?
Let's say at this point it's about 150 feet.
Oh, gosh.
Like, it's moving fast. Faster than you guys can run. Again, you guys are in the middle of a field with...
Okay.
To you, you have, like, waist-high, chest-high grass. For Zulta, it's definitely, like, chest, neck-high grass. Kess, I actually can't remember how tall you are, Kess.
Short.
Short. So yeah, it's like mouth level, the grass around you. So you have trees dotted along, and then there's some hills and things like that.
Yeah.
And you can try and get your bearings again, and give me a perception check to see if you can remember which direction you need to go to get to the large ridge.
The direction is away.
Or the ravine.
Yeah. Who, me?
The direction is not here. Yes. Been to this area before.
A what check?
Perception.
Perception. Okay.
Call it a minor action.
No, that's 8.
8. So yeah, still having a hard time trying to figure out where you are. You're not exactly sure which direction you need to go to get to the ravine at all.
Okay. All right. So I'll peek out from rock form a little bit, and I mean I've heard what's happening. Is the Guardian's moving quickly towards Kess? Has it started any laser sight or anything like that, or is it just moving?
Right now, it looks like it's just moving. You have never seen one of these active, so you don't know what kind of range it has.
No, I don't, but it's it's just chasing after her. Okay, and it's moving in a line that won't intersect with where we are, right?
No.
Okay.
it'll come near you, like probably, you know, if you were to...
Where eventually, what's the nearest... so yeah, like geometry here. If it's on this line and we're over here, what's the distance, the shortest distance that it'll hit this line?
It'll probably get within about 30 to 45 feet of you.
Okay.
Guys.
Can I...
If Kess stays exactly where she is right now.
Right. Can I take a big bomb out of my bomb bag and try to roll it into the place where I think it's gonna like basically step on that intersection?
Kind of like lay a mine.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I'm gonna have you roll me a logic check first to see if you can get the right angle, and then if you succeed at that, when it gets near enough, you'll actually roll an attack on it.
12. That's 12.
12. Okay. So you sit there and you roll this relatively large bomb out there. It makes it most of the way, but you think if it continues on its current path, to miss your bomb by about 10 feet.
10 feet.
But it's pretty darn close. And again, it's running directly at Kess. That was your major action for the turn. Is there anything else you want to do with your turn?
Go back into rock.
Okay. Kess, you see the creature coming towards you. I'm going to have you roll me a perception check real quick. Because you're technically above the grass a little bit because you
22.
latched onto a tree. Yeah, you watched Aruna sit there and roll this, which you know to be a bomb, a relatively big one, fallen short of being in the direct path of the Guardian itself, and the Guardian is running directly at you at this particular moment. Knowing that information, what would you like to do?
Can I go further forward but adjust course so that it will have to run into the bomb?
Are you going to be running or hookshotting?
Well, hookshot if I can.
Sure. Make just a hookshot attack, a logic check, basically.
Actually, you know what? I have like 4 legend points from last week. I'm gonna use one of those.
Good.
Okay. That gives you advantage 1.
19.
Okay. So without too much difficulty, you sit there and you find another, this time instead of a tree that has kind of a drop off similar to the one when you first came into this realm, and you shoot the hook shot at it and lodge. It gets lodged in the rocks, and you kind of adjusting the path of this Guardian just enough to where you think it should go over the spot. This bomb that no one can really see anymore because it's covered by long grass and stuff like that.
So since I'm now more on the ground, does that mean I'm out of sight as well?
You could be if you wanted to. You're technically hanging off the side of the rock, but you could drop down.
How big of a rock are we talking here?
Like 10 feet high. It's a hill with a rocky face on it.
Am I on the top of it?
You're on the side of it. So you're like most of your body is above the grass right now. Okay. If you were to disengage the hook shot, you would pretty easily be able to kind of hide among, or at least break line of sight among the grass.
Okay, yeah, I want to do that.
Without something know you would be difficult, though.
Without what?
If you attempted to move while not being seen, that would require effort. But just ducking below the grass line, you.
Okay. I mean, I've already used my move action, I think, haven't I?
Yeah, use your move action to use your hook shot. You can use your major action as a move as well, if you wanted to not that this creature has just seen you. Hook shot too.
I would like to attempt to move around to the other side of the rock unnoticed.
Okay, then that'd be a logic check.
From the ground.
I'm assuming you're stealthily trying to move through the tall grass. Yeah.
So
logic check for me, please.
If it sees me, I at least have a rock where it can break a line of sight further. Screw it. I'm just gonna use all my points because I hate everything.
Oops, sorry.
How dare you. Glad I used it because I only got a 12.
Okay. So as you're going, you're trying to avoid ruffling the grass as much as you can, but you do kind of slip and trip. You're going around, and you see the eye focus on the area that you were in for a brief second, and then you very quickly kind of dive behind this hill. So you get the idea that at one point during your movement, but as of right now, you can't actually see it. There is a hill between you and this thing. See you unless it somehow can see through hills.
Okay.
Which again, you're not 100% sure if it can or can't. You never studied that part of it. It's its turn. As it gets going, I need an energy attack from Aruna.
That's crap. Yeah, no. 9.
9. All right. So as it's going, you see the creature moving very, very quickly, much faster than seems possible for something so large, moving very, very quickly, and it steps directly on the bomb. You've kind of set with a pressure trigger, and as it does that, there is this huge explosion, and you see the creature itself tilt forward. Its legs simply just stopped working completely, and then you guys start feeling a rumbling beneath you, and the ground starts to shake and everything like that, and you guys start seeing cracks and things like that appear. And Kess, at this point, you hear this very loud explosion, and you feel the rumbling all the way over where you are, and so you peek out from behind it to see the Guardian itself start to sink and get shorter and shorter, and then just disappear beneath the ground. Aruna and Zulta, as you guys are sitting there, you notice that the hill that you guys are hiding behind is shifting, and rocks are starting to tumble off of it, and then you start feeling that your footing itself is not as solid as it was before, and you guys start to see the ground itself slope downward as a sinkhole appears where the was mere moments before, and has now fallen down into it, and you are both falling very quickly into this sinkhole. I would like both of you to make me agility checks.
Before we do that, when it got close enough to step on the bomb, would I have attacked it then as well?
You could have if you wanted to. I will let you choose because you saw Aruna roll the bomb out. Choose if you would have attacked it at that point, or if you would have waited for the bomb to go off first.
No, I probably would have done it at the same time.
All right, go ahead and make me an energy attack then.
I was using my death drain.
I'm sorry. Make me an entropy attack then. I am going to give you disadvantage 1 because it's a mostly metallic creature.
That's fine because I still have advantage 2 on that, so that puts me at advantage 1. 23.
All right, so you sit there and you focus it. I think that's against toughness, right?
Yes.
Math is hard. 7. You do 7 damage to half, which doesn't matter because you haven't taken any damage yet. But you sit there, and as the explosion is just about to go off, you sit there and using your connection to life itself, you reach inside the creature and can feel that little pulse inside of it, and you just squeeze that pulse and try to rip it out a little bit, and a very small portion of it rips out. You see the creature itself right before it steps on the bomb kind of shakes and rattles a little bit, and it hits the bomb and then goes, and then again the ground starts to slope and you guys start falling into this sinkhole that this creature has just disappeared into. Ability checks from both of you.
Using another legend point here.
Okay.
Can I retroactively use a legend point?
You cannot retroactively use a legend point, unfortunately.
I'm gonna get hurt. Can I bank the energy that I got?
No.
Alright, well I got a 9 on my agility check.
Okay. So you start falling, tumbling end over end, going to this sinkhole, which is getting bigger and bigger. The ground is crumbling away, and you feel the ground beneath you as you start going into a free fall. Aruna?
27.
27? Damn.
Exploded again. My agility's exploding, which I'm very thankful for in this situation.
You sit there, and as you feel the ground beneath you start to go, you have dealt with sinkholes before.
Thank
You are
God.
familiar with... you have probably caused 1 or 2 in your time.
This third time's the charm.
Yeah. So as you start doing this, you realize that you're probably, because of how quickly the sinkhole has formed and how sharp the decline is, you're probably not going to be able to footing back enough to get away from the sinkhole. So you simply kind of go with it, hoping that you will be able to control your descent enough so that you don't hurt yourself on the way down.
I shout out, Pierre, where are you? Kind of falling.
Pierre's just flying above the sinkhole.
Yeah, falling, which is probably just Pierre.
Yeah, as soon as the ground started going, Pierre would have actually started flying. So unfortunately, since you guys can't fly,
I'm working on it.
Kess, you watch as, again, the Guardian falls into nothingness, and then you watch Zulta just kind of end over end tumble and go into the same area that the Guardian had just fallen into. And then you kind of roll into a ball and accelerate into this newly created sinkhole.
Can I spread out my fins and try to, like, use it to kind of slow my descent a bit?
Like a gliding suit?
Yeah, just
we'll
like
get back to you in just a second. You do see Pierre take flight, and he's kind of circling probably about like 30 to 50 feet above, watching what's going on. So kind of disappear beneath the earth. What would you like to do?
Wait, no, stop.
And Realms of the Wild is now Kess of the Wild.
She's like, well, I tried being friends with them. Moves on.
This is why I don't have
You're
friends,
nice.
you guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to very cautiously and carefully make my, because at least the one thing I do know about Guardians, they do not have a lot of head movement beyond this.
Mm-hmm.
So at least if I peek down, it can't look up at me and go, "Hey, you." But I'll at least try to peek down at it.
Okay. So you get to the edge of where the ground starts to slope, and you see that the sinkhole itself is about 30 feet inside, but the ground itself is collapsed enough that there's about like a 60-degree angle down to this sinkhole, and then you see an opening underneath it. There is a space down there, and you can't see the top of the Guardian, you can't see your friends. You see there is a space down there. Could be a natural cavern, could be something, but there is an open area down there that has now been exposed.
You guys okay?
Ah!
As that happens, Aruna, as you feel yourself enter free fall, you kind of grab onto the side and the sinkhole down, and after dropping about 50 feet, kind of riding rocks and stuff like that, the ground, you feel the familiar crunch of system, whatever Gorons have in place of his skeletal system, cracking as you definitely do a little bit of damage to yourself, but for the most part that, you know, a few minutes of rest and maybe a salve or something wouldn't cure. Zulta, on the other hand, as you fall, you are kind of pummeled by rocks and things like that. When you hit the ground, you feel, you hear a snapping sound, and you feel a sharp pain in your ankle as it seems as if you have broken your ankle. And you take, I am going to roll real dice. Yeah, because I roll awesome. You take 1 point of lethal damage.
Could have been worse.
As your ankle is there. And when you kind of get your bearings again, you look around and you are into the eye of this Guardian. It is right next to you and not glowing. You can see a bunch of holes and breaks in it, and it looks like 2 of the legs fell off. The other 2 are damaged on repair as far as you can tell. You don't really know how any of this stuff works, and it got pummeled by falling rocks and things like that on the way down. You know that little blip of life energy in its center. Kess, as you're sitting there trying to see down, you hear Pierre call out, "I think there's something down there."
Yeah, we just watched a Guardian fall down there.
No, I mean a structure. Something not natural.
Ow!
I would like to see if I can feel any forms of life other than Aruna that I might be able to kill and take energy from.
But definitely check to see if my life is still there.
Aruna's there. Nothing within the 50-foot range that you can tell. But as you look around, you do see that are far too straight to have been formed naturally. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
It's a 1 on the Kinsey scale.
It's super not good.
Can I, if I look up, can I see?
A legend point for that. I'll give Kiri one too, because I guarantee that's what she was giggling about.
Yes.
And that just broke the DM. So if you break the DM, you get a legend point. As you look around, it helps if I hit the right button. As you look around, you are in something man-made. The room itself is square. You can see there are doors. But beyond that, you really don't know.
The greatest enemy of all.
Yes, the greatest enemy of all. So, going back to Kess and Pierre, you guys are up above. Pierre has said that there's something man-made down there. And from what you can see, again, the Guardian was glowing orange from its eye. You glow coming from this sinkhole. Beyond that, you don't really know a whole lot, Kess, other than what Pierre has told you.
I know that there's
like
a guardian down there, so I'm not moving. Sorry.
Okay.
Can I see, how far down does it look? Can I see like light up there?
Yeah, you're about 50 feet down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you dropped pretty far. The only reason you didn't take any lead is you kind of rode the rocks down and were able to slow your descent enough that you didn't break anything big.
I have one with the rocks. The rocks are with me.
Snapped her ankle, so.
I'm going to try to stand.
Okay.
And as I do, I think I'm going to scream in pain, and hopefully it's loud enough to travel 50 feet up.
Yeah, as she stands up, she lets out a blood-curdling scream of pain that both Pierre and Kess. And Kess, you are actually shocked to watch Pierre, who has thus far been very much
Remarkably quiet.
Remarkably quiet and very much kind of a passive kind of person, a reactive kind of person. He gets a very different look in his eyes, and he dives into the hole.
I wait to hear screams.
It's just a lot of owls for me.
You sit there and you fall back down on your. You fall back down after trying to put weight on your broken ankle. Probably the first time you've ever broken a bone. You fall down immediately. You're in a remarkable amount of pain, and then suddenly there's a, and you see Pierre standing there with his two Ulok daggers out in a fighting stance, looking to fight something, but there's nothing moving right now.
Hey, Pierre.
Shh.
No, it's cool.
Jerry, you had something?
Yeah, it's 11 and I can't.
Okay, yep.
Sorry.
And that,
like, before we do anything else, I gotta go.
Yeah.
that was actually right where I was going to say, and that's where we're going to end it for today. So I do want to thank my lovely guests. Curious, since you have to go right now, if people want to stalk you on the interwebs, where would they find you?
Just Google Kiri Callaghan. I'm everywhere. I'm sorry, guys. I've got holiday stuff.
Absolutely
Bye.
fine. Bye, Kiri. We will miss you. As far as the rest of us, again, Elias, if people wanted to follow you on the interwebs somewhere.
Yeah, Elias Thompson everywhere as well, and I also stream Tuesday nights right here at Zelda Universe TV, and twitch.tv/Winecraft Wednesday. On Wednesday nights is when I do a show called Winecraft, Wine plus Minecraft.
All right, and then Ilea, if people wanted to find you somewhere.
I'm the unicorn of unicorns. I can be found anywhere unicorns are sold, but in reality, at Green Eye Trombonist, basically everywhere but Twitter, where it's at Green Eye T-Bone.
All right, and again, my name is TrainerJodie. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. It's all TrainerJodie. I'm on Twitch too. I stream D&D on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Right now, it'll soon be just Wednesdays on my Twitch channel, so more stuff. Check me out there. Otherwise, that is all from me today, and I will see you guys next time. Again, please don't forget that next week, we do this every other week. Next week, we will, again, if you missed any part of it, you can watch it video on demand literally right after we go offline, or it will be on the YouTube channel next week after the rebroadcast. Don't forget to vote in the MVP poll. Follow at Zelda Universe on Twitter to see that poll. So, again, that's all for me. I'll see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.